I wish today's tale was brimming with mirth and merriment, but alas, the winds have carried with them somber tidings. On the night of July 12, 2025, less than a week before I sit here today, a wildfire by the name of Dragon Bravo tore through the north rim of Grand Canyon National Park like a demon on horseback. In its fiery rampage, it laid low the historic Grand Canyon Lodge, reducing a crown jewel of American heritage to a smoldering of rubble and memories. This weren't just timber and mortar, it was soul and story, gone in a blaze far too real for poetry. Now don't let my fancy hat and my fancy drawl mislead you. I'm speaking this with a heavy heart. That lodge wasn't just a place to rest your head, it was a sanctuary, a cathedral of calm, a porch from which folks watched the gods themselves paint the canyon at dawn with brushstrokes of fire and gold. The lodge was birthed in 1928, designed by the venerable Gilbert Stanley Underwood, and built from Kaibab limestone and ponderosa pine. She didn't just perch on the rim, she belonged there. Elegant, rugged, and just eccentric enough to be unforgettable. But fire, that old bandit, ain't a stranger to these parts. Back in '32, the original lodge went up in smoke, starting in the kitchen no less, and yet like a phoenix with spurs, she rose again in 1937, humble in form, but no less beloved. Now, folks been asking about Brighty, the bronze donkey statue who greeted guests at the lodge for decades. Modeled after a real-life abandoned burro who loved to roam free between the North Rim and the Colorado, Brighty became a beloved character at the canyon back in the day. Sure, folks tried to harness him for packing supplies now and again, or put their kids on him for a joyride, which he'd happily do, if he felt like it. Brighty had a knack for escaping such duties when he felt done and would slip back to freedom. He's been immortalized in books, film, and that very statue. So, did Brighty survive the blaze?
Ain't heard nothing official yet, but word around the digital campfire is his legs got melted something fierce, along with part of his underside. But the rest of him's still upright and stubborn as ever. I reckon that tough little burro ain't done yet. I'll holler back when I know more.
Now listen close, there were 2 wildfires burning in these parts.
First came the White Sage fire burning north of Jacob Lake. That one never threatened the lodge itself, but it caused early evacuations of visitors at the North Rim. Then came the Dragon Bravo fire, which ignited on July 4th of all dates from a lightning strike, and exploded with intensity the following week, sparking a full evacuation, leaving those who worked and lived at the North Rim little time to grab their prized possessions. To make matters more precarious, when the fire reached the North Rim's water treatment facility, it caused a chlorine gas leak.
You see, chlorine gas is poisonous and heavier than the air we breathe, and the fear was that gas would drop down into the canyon and poison folks hiking those main corridor trails.
That's right, chlorine gas is heavier than a preacher's guilt and twice as mean. The canyon's inner trails, North and South Kaibab and Bright Angel, were shut down, with Phantom Ranch cleared out quicker than a saloon at high noon. But that very leak was the reason why firefighters had to evacuate themselves, and aerial fire drops near the facility had to be suspended. And then the fire overtook the lodge. Was this preventable? Did the fire management strategy falter? Who's to blame? Hey everyone. My real name is Steven, and I didn't create this channel to point fingers on what is clearly a national tragedy, nor do I want to get stuck in any political quicksand. I created the Grand Canyon Posse to help you plan your Grand Canyon trip, and I created the Canyon Cowboy character as this time-traveling guide from the past, just to do all of that in a more fun and entertaining way. Let's get back to the video, shall we? Yes, the lodge is lost, and yes, the North Rim is shuttered tight for the rest of 2025. Likely longer. Rebuilding won't be quick. But hear me now, the canyon is still here. Unbothered, unbroken. She don't flinch at fire. She's seen centuries of chaos and still stands proud as ever. The cliffs still glow at sunset, the hawks still circle, and the wind still turns its eternal hymn. Now what about nearby haunts? Jacob Lake Inn and Kaibab Lodge, they survived the inferno, thank the stars, but whether they survived the aftermath, the economic drought from months, maybe years of lost visitors, is another matter entirely.
Stop by and say hi. I'm thinking about spending a little money on a meal, a souvenir, maybe even bunk for the night next time you're passing through.
If you ain't wandering this way anytime soon, you can still lend a hand. Jacob Lake Inn's got themselves a GoFundMe to stay above water, and the Grand Canyon Conservancy, well, they rustled up a North Rim Disaster Recovery Fund. To help out, just click the links in the description of this here video, partner. Every bit helps. History don't just repeat, it reinvents. The lodge rose once before, and chances are she'll rise again. She won't be the same, but that's the canyon's way. She teaches us that destruction and rebirth walk hand in hand, like trail mates under the sun. This is a tale of loss, yes, but also of legacy, resilience, and reverence for the wild. Now, I know many of y'all had your heart set on a North Rim adventure, cabins booked, dreams drawn out like maps on a bar napkin. So what do you do now?
Now don't go hanging up your boots just yet, because I made this here video to help you replan your trip, steer you to some other scenic gems, and believe it or not, even though the Grand Canyon Lodge area is all burned up, there are still some ways you can get your North Rim Canyon fix on. So if you're thinking your plans just went up in smoke, don't despair, I've got you covered. Now, until our paths cross again, I will see you on down the trail, my friend.